Welcome to the Check Your Art podcast, a place where we discuss the intersection of faith and creativity.
Join us each week as we explore new ways to use our gifts to glorify God and inspire others. All right. Hey, we're back.
You are here and we're here. Grab a snack or don't. We actually don't care.
We don't care at all.
We don't. We have tea.
We have tea and it's
so good.
Man, I've got this peppermint tea and it is like apparently supposed to help your focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's got ginkgo something in it,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be good for memory.
The
Doctor said it was good.
Yeah. I'm not a doctor, but that sounds great.
Sure.
And I have strawberry dream. It has the benefits of being delicious.
We love that.
We do. Writers, musicians, other art people, designers. We're gonna do some art. We're gonna do a thing.
We're
gonna check your art.
definitely going to check art, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
And just hang out with us if you want.
Come chill, watch on YouTube, or don't do that if you're driving and listen somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's not YouTube.
Not YouTube while driving.
Don't do that.
Unless you have your phone face down, then that's fine.
You can do that, like face down the passenger seat, or if you're in the passenger seat, then you can watch.
Yes.
But wear headphones because it's going to be really entertaining and we don't want the driver to be distracted.
Exactly. Yeah.
We are talking about today. Actually, hold, please.
Okay.
How's it going?
Not bad. Yeah, I've been okay today.
Yeah.
I was in a rush this morning though, getting to church, I was trying to be nice and get food for my husband who was on the worship team and then like bring food, and then it just took so long, took like 40 minutes to get it. So I was just scatterbrained this morning. Then I got to church and I felt a lot better.
Yeah.
And then felt more at ease, and the day progressed, and so currently I'm pretty good. Yeah. Less scatterbrained than this morning.
You woosawed and everything's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you doing?
Opposite of that. I had the chillest morning. I accidentally woke up early and I was going to the 11 o'clock service. And so I woke up and I hung out with myself and with Jesus. And then I just slid on into church. And then I had 2 lattes. And now everything is awake. I'm smelling colors and I'm seeing sounds.
Yeah.
So that's
been there. One time I had 2 espresso tonics, like within 2 or 3 hours of each other. Man, I was on a different planet.
Dude, you ascended.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. Yeah.
That's good.
It is.
Yeah. How are your art projects and things going?
They're going pretty well, I think. Yeah. So I've been telling people that like right now I've been doing the creative self-care challenge, and it's all about, self-care, but also doing it in a creative way. And so things like go for a walk, things like mindful doodling, and things like a therapeutic art exercise that I did at the end, and watching the sunrise. And so it all met my expectations is what I've been telling people. Like, I didn't expect it to blow up. I didn't expect it to totally plummet either. Yeah. Which was really nice. That didn't happen.
Bomb.
Yeah. But it's been really encouraging too, because people were like DMing me, emailing me back and saying like, I love this challenge and I love that you're doing this. And I went for a walk today and I tried mindful doodling and like it went okay. And then people have been asking really good questions like, I struggle with ADHD and how do I keep focus if I'm trying to like be mindful but also not like get distracted? I'm like, these are such amazing questions. I love them. And so it's been really good to connect with people, and that has been kind of the highlight of this week, I would say.
Yeah, that's good. I love that.
Yeah.
Very much. It's very cute.
It's kind of cute. How have her art projects and things been?
Good. The creative endeavors?
Yeah.
Yes. Many and much. I wrote a song this week.
That's right.
Yeah. Did I send it to you? I don't think I did.
You didn't. You just sent me a random song.
I sent you my deep voice notes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was not the song I wrote.
That's good.
Yeah. But I wrote a song because I want to put together an EP, and so I wrote the like actual first song, like the first song I've actually written all the way through in a while. I've started a lot of songs, but I finished this one, and that felt really good. And
feeling.
I it's like, this is like not bad, and I keep listening to it thinking I'll hate it, but I'm like, this is good.
Like, hey, I can vibe with this.
Yeah, I'm actually not bad at what I do.
That's so nice.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I went back through like my old voice memos looking for songs I'd written, and my SoundCloud from when I was 17.
What a throwback.
Huge throwback, but some of the songs were really good.
Nice.
And I was like, you wrote that?
What?
Yeah. Okay. You. And so between being 17 and 27, I've written at least 5 songs.
That's impressive. That's like a song per year, right? I think 11
a song every 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
17 to 27.
Oh, we
10 years.
7.
5 songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I heard 21. I can't do that.
I'm 21. That's
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. So that was good. And I've not released them to the world because I'm still self-conscious about them.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people are like that with music, with any kind of art. Like, you do art and you're like, no, I want to keep it to myself. Like, I'm not ready.
Just for now.
Just for now. I don't want to open it up to criticism or any possibility of criticism.
It's not my best work yet.
It's
about to be the sickest work ever.
I mean, it's the best for where you're at right now.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Very. I think that kind of goes into the next topic because we're talking about kind of secondary ways that we are creative. So not our main way that we, hope to have a career path in, but ways that we like to unwind and like to relax and not think about how to make a profit from it.
Yeah, like good free expression that has nothing to do with the outside world.
Yes.
Which I love.
So good.
Super important as an artist to have art that is just for you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people have art that's just for them. Like I feel like creativity is a very natural way to unwind for a lot of people. Like I have a friend who just does watercolor. She doesn't do it for anything except the fact that she enjoys it. And she just hangs it up in her little art studio. And it's really good. She's really good. She's like, no, I just do it for me.
Just for me. That's good.
It's really,
it's
really, really nice. But I think kind of as being like, okay, your main like creative endeavor is what?
Probably therapeutic art sessions, and then also painting maybe, or sometimes digital art.
I would say,
like it kind of all overlaps for me, and so that's why it's been a little hard to be like, okay, what will help me unwind, because it really depends on honestly my mood or my season. But if I'm like, I am obsessed with painting and I've got commissions out the wazoo, then I don't want to paint at all when I don't have to. So I would do digital art, or I would do like playing video games. Honestly, playing really pretty video games, like on the Switch, just cozy ones that like Spiritfarer or Moonlighter or Potion Permit for those who are nerds and may know what I'm talking about. I have been really into those lately, and
that's like appreciating someone else's art too.
Yeah, it's like I don't have to think about my own art in that time, which is really nice. And it just stimulates my brain too in a different way, and there's little like achievements and challenges, and it's like short-term instant kind of gratification.
Which painting is the opposite of instant gratification.
You're telling me.
And that's why I can't do it. It's a lot of patience, I feel like. And like, I'm going to do this, and then we wait for this to dry, and we're going to do this. And if I make a mistake or want to cover it up, I have to wait for it to dry. Then do it again. I'm stressing you out.
No, it's fine.
No, it's
you get it though.
Lamenting.
Yeah. Well, and even with therapeutic art, like it's kind of funny because I do find art to be healing personally, and I want others to experience that too. And so those sessions are both refreshing and exhausting because I'm the one leading them, but I'm also participating in the exercise with the person. And so I never hate them at the end of it.
Yeah.
But I sometimes leading up to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want them to just cancel. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. No, do it. And it's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of ties back into the point of like, I like to just shut my brain off.
Yeah.
And right now my therapist told me to draw my cat in a window, and I've been working on that for months.
Yeah.
And it's so cute.
Which cat did you choose?
Kyrie.
Yeah.
She's so pretty.
She's really, really pretty. I feel like Tara would not be nearly as interesting being a black cat.
Yeah. Well, to be fair too, we didn't have him when I took that picture and when I started the project. Yeah.
Okay. That tracks as well.
Yeah.
Kind of like how I was invited to your wedding.
Right. Because you weren't, because we didn't know each other.
And you should have just known, but it's fine. It'll move on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yikes.
Okay. Sweet.
So what are your ways that you kind of unwind secondarily?
Yes. And I do. So I mentioned like songwriting, and that is kind of a fairly recent endeavor. I've always written songs, but I've never been really serious. I feel like there was a time in my life that it kind of came naturally. But then I would say poetry, which is very similar, but it's not exactly the same. I have like a separate Gmail where I have a Google Docs that's just all free writing.
Oh, I love that.
And so whenever I feel like I need to release something emotionally in a creative way, I'll just go into the Google Doc. None of them are titled, they're all numbers. And I'll just start free writing. And sometimes it's like a short story or just a paragraph about straight how I'm feeling, or it's like poetry. But that is like, because I'm not as good with my hands creatively, it's a lot easier to just write. And I feel like that gives me the amount of expression that's necessary. But I also think when I do feel like drawing, I keep, instead of like journaling like in a lined notebook, I keep like big sketch notebooks.
Nice.
And that gives me the ability to either write if I want to write, or I can doodle, which I do a lot. And something I learned like 2 years ago was if I draw how I'm feeling, like a self-portrait of myself. And when I say self-portrait, I mean like cartoonish doodle.
Which you're really good at. I really like them. Like, I just pause because you say that you're not good at drawing things with your hands, but you are.
I can draw the head of a cartoon.
That's really good. Not a lot of people can.
Well,
anyway.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I appreciate
the compliment.
you. I receive it. But yeah, I felt like I would like feel something so strongly, and I think like it's kind of isolating sometimes. Yeah. And so like drawing myself the way I feel like I look as a cartoon in such like an exaggerated way really helps me like process that emotion as I'm drawing, because I'm like, what do I feel like in my face?
Yes.
And like drawing that kind of helps me like process that. And so I think that would be my secondary kind of like art style that is not like pressure.
Yeah.
Because like music is, and I get what you're saying about like, I kind of hope they cancel. And then you're like engaging in it, and so you feel good even though you are the facilitator. And so it's like when I do anything music related, because like whether it's like leading worship or being a part of like participating in the, I don't know what to call it. It's not a concert. It's like a
performance.
We'll say performance.
Yeah.
That your husband's organizing.
Yeah.
Where I'm just a vocalist. it's still like a lot of preparation and a lot of, I don't want to do this right now.
Yeah.
But then when you're in it, it feels great because it's art and you're expressing yourself. And it's like, oh, I chose to do this because I like it.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that's like, I really resonate with that because it's like pouring out your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I don't go into my day job and pour out my soul. Like,
Right.
I try really hard,
Yeah.
but it doesn't like tax my life force.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like creative arts do.
Yes.
Because it's like body, mind, soul.
They're so personal. Yeah. It's like an inner thing that isn't the same as writing up documents for law firms or digital advertising agencies. Yeah. And I think that it's so easy that's why it's so easy to feel so exhausted as a creative person.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you enjoy the heck out of it and it's so fun. And then at the end of it, you just don't want to do anything else. You're just like, I want to go to sleep.
I've taken all of my energy and I've put it toward this thing and now it's time for a nap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Very good.
Very nice.
Cool. And so we were kind of discussing what this looked like in like a scriptural way,
mm-hmm.
Like trying to find examples of it.
Yeah.
And we landed on Exodus.
Like of all the places to land.
Yeah, it feels really weird. You would think like Psalms where like it's all poetry, but then David really just be singing.
He's just singing.
He is going through it and he's singing.
And he's singing.
Great example. But that I think would be his primary, form of self-expression.
Yeah.
Because there's like a whole book.
Yeah, the whole one.
Yeah.
So many psalms.
So many. But we landed in Exodus because we were talking about the temple and like how God is giving these instructions for how the temple should be built. And there's like measurements in cubits, but then there's also the aesthetic directions about like the color of the altar or like how the priestly robe should look and like the precious gems that are in there. And I think that's like a really good example of there's like very precise art, which like I can't say what God's primary art form is, obviously, but seeing those two in tandem is like, I don't like reading that part in Exodus, but it's so beneficial to like see those two things balance each other out and both be equally as important to God.
Yeah, and it just like shows you how much attention to detail he puts into things. Mm-hmm. And so how much more does he put attention to detail in you?
Yeah.
Who was created in his image. But it was also really cool and comforting to be like, okay, there's so many different sides of God's creativity.
Yeah.
And, like there's the mathematical type of creativity and then there's the aesthetic creativity. Yeah. And he also rested.
Yeah.
Which we could take a note from.
Yeah. Galaxy-brained God moment.
Honestly, yeah. And it just is cool because we don't have a God that we can't relate to.
Yeah.
And that's because of Jesus primarily.
Yeah.
And it's just neat. Like we can relate to him, but he also is so much more than us and so much more powerful than us. And it helps me personally to appreciate art in general and then appreciate his art.
Yeah.
When it happens, like a sunset.
I couldn't think of that in a million years. Dude, he popped off.
Yeah. Yeah.
The mountains.
Oh my
gosh. And specifically the Blue Ridge ones. So good. They slap.
They're so good.
They're so pretty.
They're so pretty.
Yeah. Make a grown man cry. Yeah, and I think like considering Exodus, I like that you brought up like relating through Jesus, because I think a lot of times if we like want to relate to Jesus, we'll flip straight to the New Testament.
Yeah.
But like seeing God creatively in Genesis and Exodus is very interesting because that's just, good old Yahweh, like Old Testament God, where like he's not yet come down to earth, like as a man, and we find that easiest to relate to, but to be able to relate to like the God of Israel, is crazy. Like really, really interesting because I don't think we typically are meant to see him as relatable, but he's the same God who is Jesus.
Yeah.
So
same God from the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's just such a crazy dichotomy too between the Old Testament and New Testament, which I feel like is probably a whole other podcast in its own. But just the fact that it's a reminder of how many facets there are of God and how he's multi-passionate.
Yes.
And like I'm multi-passionate. And it just feels so refreshing that he knows me that way and that I'm known by him that way.
Did you just come up with the term multi-passionate?
No.
Okay. That's fire. It's the first time I've ever heard that.
Oh, no, I did not come up with it.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. That was you.
We'll claim
all you. No, I love that. Yeah, like seeing that God's multi-passionate. I also think that sometimes, especially in the church, there's like a focus on music art. And, sometimes we're like in slides or whatever. And there's like a focus on, gosh, I can't think of any more art. Sometimes we devalue production, but that's an art form.
So it is artistic.
Exactly.
And bad production is a bad time.
Yes, it is an awful time for everybody involved.
No one likes to be in it. And like you said about the slides, I'm on our design team at church, and it is so important. Like, you don't think about it when you get assigned a project, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to make a slide. And then you see it on the big screen. You're like, no, that is important.
It's very important.
Like, I need to be able to read the things clearly. I need to be able to be engaged with the colors and understand what the main...
There's a lot that goes into communicating what is happening in that one slide.
That is shown for maybe 10 to 20 seconds.
Exactly. But it means so much, because like a lack of intentionality in that process can create the illusion of a lack of intentionality in other places in the church.
Yeah.
And I think like acknowledging that God is multi-passionate helps us to realize that there are going to be people in our congregations who are multi-passionate, that we need to be a multi-passionate church.
Yes.
And acknowledge like people have giftings and we're allowed to use them. And like, we don't have to be like, I'm going to accidentally get on a soapbox really quick. Being like, we don't need to worry about lighting. Maybe in this church you do. And that's someone's gift that they can like satisfy the needs of the church because that's their artistic gifting, in the same way that, we feel like we need to have a worship director, or maybe we have several worship leaders, and like really honoring everybody's gifting, knowing that God gave them that thing and we don't have to have this stance as a church that we're taking that off the table. But that's
no, I think that's really good. I agree with that because I mean the creative team at our church is I say our, I mean my church. We go to different churches.
I assumed you meant you and
but yeah, like the creative team at our church is like, yeah, there's so many gifted people in this, and we recognize that, and we want to showcase that. We want to highlight it, and we want to like use it to glorify God, because that's what we're here to do, right? And that's what the body of Christ is letting every part of the body do its function that it does best.
And like when you acknowledge that and you honor that and you store that well, it's like very evident. It's so like a picture of God's creativity just manifest.
Yes.
It's so cool.
So cool.
That's the only word I can think of.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
It is. And I can give a small example too. So when the pandemic happened, we obviously all events were canceled, and normally our church does this thing called Community Day, where we have like blow up bounce house not balloons, but bounce house things that kids can go in, like and then there's like an Easter egg hunt, and it's just a great time, but that was canceled. So the next year we did a pop-up market where there were vendors that could set up shop and sell their things, and people loved that. And it gave me and a lot of people in the church a chance to like use our creativity. And you know what? We didn't even have everyone from our church be a vendor. We had people who never came to our church before and they set up shop and they sold their things like earrings or signs or food, you know, which is art. And it was just the coolest thing, because I don't know a lot of churches that do that.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were able to use our gifts that way was so refreshing and so needed, and like it made people want to come back.
Yeah.
And so we did it again the next year, and then we did it again this year. And I think it's something that we're going to keep doing because people loved it, and it just is a way that it really shows the body of Christ, and our community can be a part of it too.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know Jesus to come here. Like, it's a pop-up market.
Yeah. Hopefully you will eventually, but it gets you a step in that direction.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of wraps up that discussion. And sick and also dope and cool.
All of those things.
Yeah, all of it. We just want to like encourage you guys, like just going through the rest of this week, until you hear from us again next week. What is your secondary art form? Do you know what it is? Do you have one? If you don't have one, we would both encourage you to like really try to figure out what it is. Like, what are you doing that is almost your secondary art form? Really indulge it this week. If you already have one, indulge it this week and like really put some extra time to it. See if it changes your mood, if it refreshes you, if it like is something that could help you like not burn out. And just like dive into it and let us know how it goes. You can slide into our DMs. You can leave us a little comment in the thing.
Yeah, in the thing. Yeah, where their comments are.
Where the comments go.
Yeah. And I mean, seriously, we do like to hear from you. And we both love connecting with people and love clearly talking about stuff like this.
We love to talk about art.
That's so good. So let's nerd out about art together. And whatever, if you're stuck too, if you're just like, I have no idea where to even start.
Yeah.
We have ideas.
So many ideas.
Yeah. So we can help.
Yeah. Maybe you got an idea from you listening to what we do.
Yeah.
You know, video games do count.
Yes. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So where can they find us?
They can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify.
Yeah. Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Check your art.
Check your art. ART.
Yes.
Yeah. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
That was fun. Let's do it again sometime.
If you like watching podcasts, we're on YouTube. If you're more of a listener, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and elsewhere in the internet ether.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, where we share shorter clips and fun little bloopers.
Okay, bye.